I'm Mike,
And I'm Matt.
and this is The Coin Show.
Take just one last breath before you enter.
On this episode of The Coin Show, Matt and I will discuss the often controversial subject of coin cleaning. And we'll talk about the coolest thing to walk into Matt's shop this week. But first, the news.
And now, the news brought to you by Lost Dutchman Rare Coins, Indianapolis's finest coin dealership. Trust, integrity, fairness, family. These are our values.
You gotta love that.
I do like that.
And because yesterday was your birthday, we are going to try something new tonight in our news.
So this is a birthday present, or
Kind of. Yeah, I think it's a present.
Curse?
I think it's a gift to our listeners for your birthday.
this isn't like birthday spankings or anything?
No, this isn't like birthday licks.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, no, this will be painless.
Normally,
We are going to do a new segment for the news called Pick Your News.
it's like pick your nose.
Kind of, but you can't wipe your news on the back of the couch.
Can't pick your friend's news.
No,
Okay.
no. So basically what I have done, Mr. Dinger, if you look, is I have given you a list
Yeah,
of several, well, lots.
there's a decent amount.
And you pick the one. You pick the news story that you want to hear.
Ooh.
And that's the one we'll do.
See, I have to play the not hating on modern stuff card here tonight. So let's do first one. Let's hear about the U.S. Mint has released a 2016 presidential dollar proof coin set.
Okay, well, first in Pick Your News, Matt has gone directly for the...
I wanted to turn over a new leaf. I still hate modern stuff, but I'm not going to show it as much.
Okay. The United States Mint has released the 2016 presidential $1 coin proof set.
Okay,
Now, this year's proof set has 3 presidential dollars.
just 3.
Just 3. It's just Tricky Dick, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, and Ronald Reagan.
Mhm.
This set costs $17.95, and it has no stated limits on production or orders per household. This is according to newsblog.com.
I was going to say that Reagan coin might be kind of popular because a lot of people were fond of old Ronald Reagan.
I will tell you this. I think that it is going to see the same popularity as the Abraham Lincoln coin did
Yeah,
because it has St. Reagan on it.
Yeah. Saint Reagan.
The interesting part about the Reagan coin for me is one that they went out of their way to amend the law in order to make the Reagan coin happen.
Yeah.
Because originally the way it was intended was that as soon as the number of consecutive presidents stops, that's where the series will end. And now you've got, Jimmy Carter kind of sitting there in between Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan looking at you from Georgia going, hey, hi, I'm still alive.
Buy some peanuts.
Yeah. And so the Ronald Reagan coin should not have been according to the original interpretation of the law.
But we all
And
know
now
how
we've
that
got
works.
this. Now we've got this forward-facing version of Ronald Reagan, which is kind of creepy and kind of weird. Have you seen the designs for the presidential dollars?
Not yet, but I'm going to look at them right now.
You need to look at them
Just
because,
Google them here.
well, I mean, they're like all the rest of the presidential dollars. They're kind of uninspired. Nixon has a profile, which with his classic nose, I think is kind of an interesting take.
Sure.
Gerald Ford kind of looking...
He looks rather stern.
Well, I mean, it's the only president never elected the national office. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Never. He was a congressman from Michigan.
He ran for president.
No, well, he was kind of picked
Yeah.
as president
Yeah.
because when the Vice President Agnew resigned,
Yeah.
Richard Nixon picked him out of the House to become his vice president, probably with some sort of a deal for a pardon, and then Nixon resigned and Ford became president. So it was a really interesting, and then Ford pardoned Nixon.
Yeah.
So you know how that kind of stuff goes. But the set, it's $17.95 for a 3-coin set.
That's a bunch.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my opinion, wait for the regular proof set.
Yeah.
Because these are going to be in the regular proof set. They're going to be in the silver proof set. You're going to have your opportunity with these coins. And, none of these are being made for circulation. Well, they're being struck in circulation strike, but none of them are being made for circulation. So, they're all going to have a premium attached to them.
Every single one. So if you want it.
Yep. But this is the very last of the presidential dollar series.
Wait. Say it with me. Thank God.
Yes. And with it, we get a gold coin honoring a living human being, Mommy, Nancy Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna get her first spouse gold, and I always think it's interesting when we have precedents like that broken.
Yeah. Well, that's it's always fun to notice all the things that we don't do very often through our coinage. So
Yes.
cool.
What's next?
How about the new members of the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee?
I thought you'd never get to that.
Yeah. Building suspense.
Mm-hmm. This is really actually joyous news for us as the Coin Show because two people that I would consider to be friends of the show, Dennis Tucker and Steve Roach, both former guests of our show, have now joined the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee.
Wow.
This, according to according to an article in CoinUpdate.com. The Citizens Advisory Committee was joined by its newest members Tuesday as the panel met to vote on designs for the 2017 effigy mounds and Ellis Island, America the Beautiful quarters. So Dennis Tucker and Steve Roach are now officially members of the committee. Dennis takes over for outgoing member Dr. Michael Bugeja. I hope that's how you pronounce it. But he is filling the position for individuals specially qualified in numismatics, where Steve Roach occupies the seat designated for a representative of the general public. Now, personally, Steve, he was the editor-in-chief of Coin World, editor-at-large at Coin World. I think both of them are well qualified to take either one of the posts. But it's neat that somebody who does so much writing and so much researching and so much good for our hobby ends up being the numismatic, qualified representative on the committee.
And the best part is, if we have a suggestion, he would listen to us. He might not take it, but he would. I know him. He would listen to us.
Well, he hasn't stopped taking my phone calls yet. But there's time for that.
It may be coming up.
But we are tremendously proud to have two people that have been good to our show and good to the hobby. See good things happen for them and to watch their careers advance. Dennis, if you're not aware, is the publisher at Whitman in Atlanta, and he has a new book coming out. And I cannot wait. No, he actually wrote this one. Yeah, by Dennis Tucker.
Cool.
Yeah, so he has a new book coming out that he's been teasing me about, and we'll see when I get a copy of it. I expect really, really big things from the CCAC. Now, granted, they can only work with what materials they're provided.
Sure,
but I think that both of these guys have their ear to at least the collecting community, and I think that it's always good to have an advocate on your side that actually listens.
Well, they're both very personable. I mean, they're taking the time to come talk to us, so.
Or they're charitable too.
Well, and that's exactly what I was getting at. Is maybe they're definitely. I don't think they could have picked any better people. So.
Okay, what's next? What next are you to pick your news?
Pick my news.
Pick your news.
U.S. 1 cent and 5 cent coin cost are lessening.
Oh, now see, this is actually very, very interesting news. The
So I picked.
CoinNews.net this week posted an article that the U.S. cent and nickel costs are now trending lower. So the cost of circulating coins fell for the fourth straight year,
Cool.
according to the 2015 U.S. Mint annual report.
Huh. Well,
Now the next line, I think the next line in the article says it all. That said, the price to make and distribute the nation's two smallest coins, the Lincoln cent and Jefferson nickel, remained well above their face value.
of course, I have to.
So the cost to produce, administer, and distribute the cent was 1.43 cents compared to 1.66 in 2014. And the nickels was 7.44 cents versus 8.09 cents. So,
I mean,
the prices are coming down. It's brutally obvious. The Mint has already said there is no metal or combination of metals that they can produce a cent in that will be less expensive than the current zinc, copper dipped zinc composition.
yeah.
So there's nothing that they can go to that will make it cheaper, with the exception of maybe plastic.
Ooh, that'd be weird.
Well, it would, and I can almost assure you they won't get rid of the dollar bill. They're not going to make our change out of plastic.
There you go.
Famous last words.
I'd like to cover the Mint to release plastic penny story next, please.
Yeah. I'll take Mint to produce plastic pennies for 100. But the U.S. Mint makes money on the rest of the stuff that they produce, and seigniorage. Let's see, seigniorage for 2015 was $550 million. Even though they lost money on on 9.15 billion cents and 1.47 billion nickels.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot to just keep making them. It's like, I can see the production line down at the U.S. Mint, and it's like Charlie standing there. He looks, hey, Jim, yeah, these things cost more than they're worth to
I
make.
wonder if they have a little, like on their conveyor belt that's, that have a little counter above it that just tells how
Well, they
much.
should have two counters. They should have one for what they cost.
Yeah.
And one for, just keep making them, Jim.
Well, what do you do?
No. What do you do? So they're going to continue making them. I don't see anything changing in that regard. It would be really cool if they kind of took a cue from a lot of the other countries around the world. There are, now at least my idea of paying 1.5 cents in banks for people to cash in their pennies, which I think would cause billions of them to come out of the
Oh,
woodwork.
yeah.
It's now cheaper for them to produce them than to take my idea.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
So, that's fine. Okay, what's next on Pick Your News?
Oh, I always like to hear about shady coin dealers. So let's read the story titled "Coin Dealer Sentenced to 30 Months and 10 Million in Fraud Case."
Coin Week has published a story this week. A coin and precious metal dealer and his company, responsible for defrauding more than 380 customers of over $15 million, were sentenced in federal court late Wednesday, February 17th. A U.S. District Court judge sentenced Haynes Tulving Jr. of Newport Beach, California, to 30 months in prison and 3 years of supervised release.
Thanks.
The company was ordered to pay a $10 million fine and was placed on a probationary period of 2 years. The judge reserved his ruling on the amount of restitution owed by Tulving and the company for 90 days. So he's actually going to give that some thought. I think maybe he's just kind of setting up a flyer.
Wow.
He's running it up the flagpole to see what kind of pushback he gets about it.
Wow.
But court records show that from August of 2013 to January 2014, Tulving and his company executed a scheme to defraud customers nationwide by inducing them to place orders for coins and other merchandise, knowing those orders could not be filled.
Huh. Well, that's
So
not,
in handing
not very
down-
smart.
No. According to court documents filed in the case, the defendants defrauded more than 380 victims nationwide of over $15 million. So Haynes Tulving and the Tulving Company each pleaded guilty to one count of wire fraud